This is Beer 30 Sports O'Clock. Yee. Yay, it didn't get crazy. It didn't go all over the place. Hey, this works. What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining another great week of everything sports, man. Oh my goodness, it has been a crazy week for myself included. So let me just get into it first and foremost. Obviously, you guys know that my favorite store had some Brooklyn Brewery, Brooklyn Pilsner Crisp Pilsner. It's 5%. Won't be too many slurred words today, but again, Total Wine, second favorite store. Get these beers from all over the country. I mean, literally everything you see here, I pretty much got from Total Wine because they supply my drinking habits. So let's get into it, man. So you're probably wondering why I have a T-shirt with the slogan "Sunset Lounge" on it. I've got an announcement. I'll be joining the Sunset Lounge, aka Stolen Water Media LLC, and I will be joining them as a part of the great lineup that they have of podcast shows that they have from like Your Dark Companion with I'm butchering his name, Mike Reiner. There's Misconceptions. They've got a bunch of different style podcasts, and they are welcoming me to the family. So I'm super excited. What that means, though, is that weekly I will now no longer be on YouTube. As far as the full episode, I will be on Patreon. So if you want to follow everything that goes on, because there will be little tidbits more, it will get more extensive as far as like betting and things like that, and as far as like fantasy, football, and beer and all sorts of great stuff that I plan on doing with them, with the Patreon. So if you want to continue to follow the Beer 30 and drink along with me, then you will have to find me on Patreon. The link will be in the description. So before I go, though, I got to give you guys one more, right? One more, just one, Ziggy, just one. All right, so one more episode. This episode is going to be like crammed. A bunch of stuff happened. Obviously, we know college football, another week. NFL's going on right now. So with all of that, let's get into it. The news you can booze to. So, first and foremost, the Brandon Ayuk saga is over. Oh my God. Thank you. Or is it? Or is he happy? Or is it the deal that he had offered the whole time? 4 years, 120 million, 76 million guaranteed. Now, I've talked to a couple people that are 49er faithfuls and things like that. Apparently, this was the deal the Niners had on the table from the jump. The only thing that they were fighting over was the guaranteed money, and that's why he was acting like he wanted to be traded. But yeah, he was not traded. He did sign the deal. He's in San Fran uniform, and they will be showing up for Monday Night Football. Trent Williams actually got paid, and he also got an extension of 3 years, $82.65 million, and $48 million guaranteed. Now, this to me is the bigger signing. This to me is the one that's like, damn, that's the one that made the most sense. Excuse me. That's the one that made the most sense for them to hurry up and get done before the season. Now, granted, it showed up a little bit later than the Ayuk deal, but Ayuk deal was more of a diva thing than the Trent Williams thing was more of like a technicalities, if you will. He wanted more guaranteed type money. So, but meanwhile, San Francisco just continues to stay in the news, and just in a twist of events that actually apparently made Trent good to the point of going back to sign. Their rookie, Ricky Pearsall Jr., got shot in the chest in an attempted robbery. So I guess a teenager kid came up on him, tried to get him for his Rolex. They got into a fight. The gun went off. Both of them got shot. One, he was shot in the chest and missed everything, thank God. But it shot, I mean, there's video of him getting up, walking to the ambulance. Now, I don't know about you, but if I get shot, I'm in the chest. I'm sitting my ass down on a stretcher. I don't give a fuck if I feel grazed or not. I'm sitting my ass on a stretcher and getting babied until there is no more babying. My man walked to the ambulance, and 48 hours after being left out of being shot and out of the hospital, was in the weight room. Fam, if that is not insanity, I do not know what insanity is. My man was in the weight room 48 hours to get after getting a hole put in your chest. No, no, sir. That is the most gangsterish shit I've ever heard in my life. So, cheers to Ricky. He'll be out obviously for the start of the season. They got him on the PUP list, so he can't start till like week 4. But the way he's recovering, you would think he'd be back in a matter of fucking 2 weeks. So I mean, that's like I said, that's Trent said that's basically what made him come back. Like one of the straws that he came back for, because he was like just so like oh shit, I got to be with the team. And man, that's crazy. So the Niners owe Ricky Parcell or however you say the man's name. They owe him big because he literally got shot in the chest for Trent Williams, for Trent Williams to come get the contract done. So, in other crazy news, Bill Belichick is on Instagram. Now, if you guys don't know, Bill Belichick has started doing a lot more media stuff. He's working, I think, 3 jobs now. So he's got all 3 in the media. One's like not a commentator, but more of like an analyst. The other one's going to be doing a full-on show. And now he's on Instagram, aka InstaFace.
Hello, everyone. Surprised to see me here? Well, I am too. Over the past few months and not being with a team, I haven't had the opportunity to express my thoughts at a moment's notice. So now I'm changing that. I tried to join Snapface, but I couldn't find it. I decided this was a good place for me to land so I could talk to you and share what I'm up to, because there's a lot going on. So here I am. Hello, InstaFace. See you soon.
Your InstaFace and Snapface is absolutely funny as shit. But man, Bill is like leaning into this whole like media, like man, from going from him at the podium, like never wanting to talk to press, to becoming like press and being more camera friendly, and man, it's what a switch of events, and it is crazy to see. Meanwhile, remember when I said that I wanted to join a fantasy league like that does drafts and makes them events and things like that, and they go traveling and things like that? This is not what I had in mind.
All the way through the tackle. That hurt. Huh? That hurt. Yeah, it did hurt. Bad injury? Yeah. Uh-oh. Do we go up and see somebody? Yeah. Okay. You all right? Hold on. Yep. We'll walk with you up there. Shoulder. Have to separate.
It's a wrap. Here he might be separated. So Phil Yates of ESPN was out, I guess, in the Bahamas, and they did like a training camp kind of, what do they call those, obstacle course to draft, and he tackles this dummy, and he separates his shoulder. But that's not the funniest part, which we wish you a speedy recovery, Phil. I wish you a speedy recovery. Let me say that. I do not wish hurt on anybody. You are Ricky. Like, yeah, Obviously, Ricky's is way more crazier than yours, but sounds like you'll be out for a little while because you instantly knew you pulled your shoulder out of socket. But his friends, the great friends that they are, all decided to name their teams after the trauma, after the shoulder pull. So first name is Bahama Trauma, and his team acronym is OUCH. Shoulder season, that's nasty work. Beachside Rotator Records, Shorts and Sand L's, that's crazy too. Popped Shoulders and Hurt Egos. Fields Hospital Bill. Ah, come on, man. Tackling Fool. That's just mean. That's just me. And Dummy for MVP. Tackle Test Dummies. Sandbar Slingers. Because his arm gonna be in a sling. Ah, that's pretty good. And Field of Dislocated Dreams. Now, I ain't gonna lie, that's the best one to me. Like, I seen this and I was like, yo, that's the best name. They should automatically win the league just off that name because that is funny as hell. Like, Field of Dislocated Dreams is fucking hilarious. So, shout out to you, Field Yates. Your pain is our humor. Our for the week. You get the beer goggles. I don't know what made you decide you were gonna just go that hard on the dummy, but you know, yikes. So, on to college football. College football was absolutely crazy. I mean, it was touchdowns off touchdowns, catches. There was probably like 3 or 4 catches of the year. Then there was like 2 or 3 interceptions of the year. And I'm not saying that just because it was the first week, but I'm saying like these were like great catches, great catches. Like you look, just watch. For example, that is insane. That is insane. That was probably the catch of the year. That was probably the catch of the year. One hand comes down, looks like he kind of bobbles the ground, on the ground, but his hands were under it, and they called it a catch. It was a catch. It was, excuse me, bro, it was amazing. And that was LSU versus USC. Other than that game, the SEC was dominant as hell. Like, they scored average like 40 some odd points, like 40 to 50 points a game. Like, it was crazy. I've never seen, the SEC was just absolutely dominant all weekend, except for LSU, which they played USC. They did lose, but it wasn't by much. It was like by 4 points, I think, or whatever. They needed, that wasn't the catch that won the game. But I'm just saying, like, it was just, man, that game was actually really great. The other SEC team that kind of let everybody down, Florida. Florida went into Miami thinking that, or no, it might have been in Florida. I don't know, whatever. Doesn't matter. It was Miami's house by the time they left. So, Miami versus Florida, and Florida gets absolutely whooped. I'm like depressed whooped. And the Florida coach, come on down, brother. You got beer goggles of the week number 2 because not only did you get your ass whooped by Miami, you was getting your ass whooped by your water bottle.
Yeah, Coach. I mean, given the experience and how confident you were in this team going into the season, just how disappointing and surprising was this performance?
Yeah, I mean, it's embarrassing, to be quite honest with you. Yep. That's how I feel. That's how our kids feel. We've got a decision to make. I mean, I think we have.
I don't know if he was doing that like out of anxiety, trying to like not be frustrated and blow up at the mic. But boy, he was struggling with that water bottle, bro. Like absolutely struggling. And his team was struggling against Miami on the field. I'm just being honest. They have recruits out there watching the game, and bruh, if I was a recruit and I seen how Miami whooped them, and then Miami was talking to them like, "Yo, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all need to come to Miami, come to Death Row. This is the U, blah blah blah." There's no way there's no way that I would fully be like, yeah, I might want to go talk to Miami. You know what I'm saying? If they throw out the offer, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was bad. It was bad. It was bad. It was embarrassing, like the coach said, and it just, man, I don't. I don't know. They got to bounce back because they're the last hope besides Miami and Florida right now because Florida State lost to Boston College and they just continue to be mid as fuck. They're not even ranked now. And, Boston College, they dominated that game. Like, it was just, the weekend was so crazy. It was so great. So much great college football. But, like, Florida State, I don't know what the fuck is going on with them. Notre Dame pulled it out. I mean, listen, it was a great kickoff to the season. Like last week was great, week 0 was great, week 1 was even greater. So like we're in for a phenomenal season. I'm really looking forward to Michigan and Texas. We'll see who's really about that then. And yeah, so but speaking of Texas A&M. Can somebody get Pat, man? Like, this dude is probably the wildest, man. Like, would he be? ESPN has turned into a frat party with Pat McAfee on College Game Day. Like, it has been, I don't know whether to be happy or, like, discouraged or, like, damn, can I do this? Can I come on the show? Because this dude is crazy. Here's a case in point.
We got it, McAfee. We got a cannon.
Bro, you don't stand in front of no cannon, bro. What is wrong with him? Like, what? Who does that? So, Pat McAfee, I can't even give you beer goggles because this is just you. This is just what you do. You always drunk. So giving you beer goggles is probably gonna be you're probably gonna get beer goggles every week of the season on college football because, man, like you have continued to dominate the craziness that is college football. Him and Nick Saban, like on the other side of the spectrum, and like it worked so well though. So ESPN knew what they was doing on that one. So I got to give them that. The balance is there. The craziness was there, but the balance is there. So all right. So let me ask you guys something, man. So I did a little video, like a little short little thing about gambling, right? Betting a beer or bet the house, right? And I got a lot of like text messages, comments, DMs, things like that. Like, should I put it in a parlay or should I do it straight up? It's not enough money if I go straight up. Whatever the case may be, people weren't really understanding like how to gamble. So I felt the need to help out, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're betting and you're not making, I mean, obviously you gamble, it's a risk, right? It's a risk in everything, right? So if you gamble though, the more you know, the better off you are. So for me, I made sure that like, I want to make sure that you guys know exactly what I'm talking about when I say these things. So I'm going to break it down, very simple layman terms for you, tell you how to do it, how to go through with it, and go from there. Now, I'm not talking about betting in a casino on the roulette table, bet it all on black. I'm not saying anything like that. Like those things, those are for another time when I'm at the casino, okay? I'm talking about sports betting because sports betting has become pretty much legal everywhere, and literally, it used to be like a no-no to talk about on ESPN and Fox Sports and all that stuff, but now it's like, I mean, they put it in the scores now, like, oh, it's such and such versus such and such, they're -3.5 favored. So, what I'll say is that you need to learn the terminology so you don't get bamboozled, right? So first and foremost, when someone is saying, okay, I'm going to bet with, let's just say, for instance, tonight, it is the Packers versus the Eagles, right? So let me pull it up here. It is Packers versus Eagles. So the spread right now is 1.5. And I know that because I looked at it. Oh, yeah, spread is 1.5. Oh, they moved it up. Okay, so the Eagles are 2.5-point favorites, which is crazy because it was 1.5 just like an hour or two ago. So that might be different. And what the spread means is they're guaranteed to win. They think that the Eagles are going to win by basically 3 or more points, right? And the reason it's 3 is because obviously there's no half points in football or basketball or anything like that. There's no half points, right? It's full points. So what that means though is you got to win. If you bet with the Eagles, right? Let's say I got $100. I put it on the Eagles and I say they're going to win and they're going to win by 3 or more. So I'm betting with the spread. The spread is basically the spread apart from the team. So from the points spread, basically the spread that they are supposed to win by. Thank you. Think about that for a second. So what that means is that if they play and it's 28-21 Eagles, then they won. They covered the spread. You win your money. You win straight up. Now, what that means for you is you'll get your money back plus a smaller amount back. Now, some people are a little greedy when it comes to gambling because they don't see the point unless they're winning big. I understand that. I'm cool with that. But most people like to do it in a parlay. So what I was just talking about, you giving the 100, getting the 100 back plus the chunk of change. I forget the odds, but like basically, typically when they're favored, it's less than what you bet. So if you bet like $10, you probably get less than $10 back. Excuse me, I keep spitting. Sorry, this Pilsner's getting me. So, at any rate, if you bet it straight up, typically when you bet with the team that is favored, they're going to get lesser back, right? Now, if you bet with the Packers and you think they're going to cover, now they don't have to win. See, that's the great thing about this spread is if you bet with the spread, you don't necessarily care who wins as long as they win by the points, or if they lose, they lose within the range of those points. For instance, SMU and Nevada. I bet on them. I bet the spread was first week. I think it was like 27. It was 27.5 when I got in. What that means is that SMU was favored by 28, right? So I had to bet. I went and bet with Nevada. Nevada lost, but they only lost by like 5 points. So I got my money plus over my money what I bet because they were the underdogs, and usually they do it in pluses and minuses. Now, I'm not going to get too in depth, but basically when you see the plus sign and you win with the plus sign, you usually get over the money you got that you gambled plus the money over what you gambled, typically. Now, if you go with the minus side, typically you get your money back, right? And you get a little less than what you gambled with your money on. So, with that being said, I strongly advise to stick to the straight ups. But some people feel like the straight ups it's not enough money, like I said, or it's not as exciting. I get it, understandable. We all see the jokes and the memes and things like that, and we laugh, but we may not even understand what the hell we're laughing at, right? What I mean by that is parlays, right? So, matter of fact, we'll get into that in a second. Hold on, let me get back to the one game, right? So, now, we've covered the spread, right? So the spread is basically the points that your team has to win by or lose within. So if you're going with the plus team, they have to lose within the plus points. So if they're plus 8, that means they have 8 points going into the game. So even though the scoreboard shows 0, they have 8 more points than the other team. Does that make sense? Good. All right. Now over under. Over under is basically when you don't care who wins the game. You ain't worried about the spread. You ain't worried about the amount of touch. You ain't worried about, who passing the ball, who catching. You don't care about anything but touchdowns. Touchdowns, touchdowns, touchdowns. So the over-under, let's say for the Ravens and Baltimore the Ravens and the Chiefs was 47 and a half. So if you bet the over, which is actually the underdog in this bet, it's a plus sign. The underdog they have to both score combined 48 points. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, like, well, damn, that's a lot of points. But if you think about an NFL game, typically on NFL games, especially like in the first few weeks, they're 28-28 or 21-27, 23-24, 24-20, 24-30. You know what I mean? Like 3 touchdowns and you're already at 21 points, right? So realistically speaking, certain offenses score more than others. Now, the trick is obviously knowing your offenses, right? Knowing your offenses, knowing your defenses. So if you like the under, that is you think that they're going to score under the 47 and a half, right? So what that means is basically you're like, hey, I don't care who wins, just keep the score low as you physically can. I want it 6-3 at the end of the day, okay? Or 9-3, who cares, right? As long as it stays under 47 and a half. I don't even want to get it to 40. I don't even want to get to 45. You know what I'm saying? So realistically speaking, that's what over-under means. And that typically, a lot of times, is a better bet for you if you're a safe bettor. If you're like one of those guys that like to be strategic, want to loan a little money, you like the slow money instead of the fast and glamorous meme money, then the over-under is typically for you. The spread is kind of difficult sometimes. It's a hit or miss. Hell, I was 50% on Thursday, but I was 75% on Saturday. So, I mean, I won, what's that, 4 out of 7? Yeah, 4 out of 7. So, I mean, I won for the weekend. So, but I put some of them in parlays and stuff just to, tease, play around. But I typically do straights. I typically like straights. I'm very strategic in that. I will play with a parlay if I'm just absolutely certain. And even that's not a guarantee. But we'll talk about parlays in a second. Now, money lines. A lot of people be like, man, why are you always saying money line, money time, money line? So when I said that, what I mean is you're just picking. Basically, if you can't decide on the spread, you're like, man, I don't know. I think the Eagles are going to win, or I think the Packers are going to win, or I think the Ravens are going to win, or I think the Chiefs are going to win. Then you just pick what we call the money line. Typically, the money line is just saying, hey, I just think that they're going to win, and here's my bet. Now, if they're favored, it's not a great bet as far as money-wise because you get your money back, and you probably get about 40 to 60% depending on the 100. Like if it's 120, 115, 130, it's very hard to get into to that unless you've been gambling for years and stuff like that. Like I mean, I've been gambling for years and I never really paid attention to it. It's because I usually bet with spreads or over-unders. I don't bet with money lines unless I'm just like sure that they're going to win, and then I'll bet the money line in a parlay if I can. If I'm not, you know what I mean? Like it's weird. So let's not hurt your heads. All right, so I keep talking about parlays, and I'm sure you've heard or saw all these guys that be talking about these 15-leg parlays, DraftKings parlays, and Fantasy Pro parlays. Listen, parlay is simply, as some people see or want to do, is when you want to put more than one bet together. When you want to group them together. What that means for you is you get better odds for your money, right? So you get more money if you win. But the odds of you winning are slim. So it's not none, but it's very slim. Now, if you are a man of, you think, it's guaranteed that they're going to win, it's guaranteed that they're going to win, it's guaranteed that they're going to win, you may be able to do a money line parlay. You may. Very strong may. Some places will not let you do it. I know Vegas has strict rules about doing all money lines. Jersey, I think, is the same way. And there's a couple other places. But neither here nor there, right? So basically what a parlay is when you lump in games or one game and you bet more than one bet together. So that means you could pick the Eagles and pick the under and join them together. Now now you've hit your parlay. Or you could bet Packers and over and you piece them together, or you do separate games. You could do the Eagles versus Packers, Ravens and Chiefs, then you could do the Cowboys and Browns. Now you've lumped in 3 games, and basically that's a 3-leg parlay. And leg means game. Leg means bets, right? That's leg is bet. So when I say that, just understand that's 3 bets. Now, there are some people out there, since the fantasy world of DraftKings and Fantasy Pros and all those guys where you bet singly on people, because it's a gateway into gambling, right? Fantasy is basic. Fantasy football, fantasy leagues, they're basically gambling. But the thing of it is it's a safer feel. You understand when you're looking at one player, because we've been, I guess I would say, programmed to follow fantasy sports, things like that. But when people start talking about 15 or 10 leg or 12 leg, 16, 20 leg parlays, if you win, your winnings are stupid amounts of money. Stupid, like beyond stupid. I know one guy, I won't say his name, but he's a friend of mine. He hit a 15 leg parlay on a Fantasy Pros or DraftKings, one of the two, and I think he put up 50 and ended up with like 10, maybe 12 grand or something like that. It was crazy. It was crazy. We were all yelling at the TV on FaceTime for him. Like, it was crazy. So, and it does happen. You can hit these things. You just have to be very, very, very lucky and very careful. Because the moment you start getting addicted to the parlays and the money that you see, the more money you lose. Because with parlays, if somebody messes up, one person messes up on that leg, on that last leg, you don't get no money. You lose your money and you get nothing in return. You get a broken heart. Like, your emotions are done. So I only suggest, me personally, this is me personally, I'm not a Las Vegas bookie. I'm in no way, shape, or form telling you how to bet. What I am telling you is that if you do a parlay, the best parlays are the 2 legs. I have won more money on the 2-leg parlays than I can care to even mention, because the simple fact is that I'm like, yeah, I like this team to win, and I like them to go to over/under, I like them to go under, or I like them to go over. Bet. I'm betting on both of those. Now, what I will do, I will separate the 2, and I will bet both of those a smaller amount, both of those 2. And that way, if I lose the parlay, I still win on 1. You know what I mean? I'll be 1 for 3. I'll take that. You know what I'm saying? But if I win, I win big. Okay? Because I hit on the parlay and the straight ups. So to me, that's a good look. I don't like losing. I don't know anybody that does like losing. But for those that, want to get into this gambling thing, these are the suggestions. These are the things I suggest. Now, I will say, be very, 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 very careful how you gamble, who you gamble with, and things like that. Please only gamble the money you have. Please, that you can afford to gamble, not even the money you have, the money you can afford to gamble. And take your L and move on, fam. See, it's the people that can't take their L's and move on, them the ones that always get fucked up in the end, because they just don't know how to stop. And me, I know how to stop, okay? Maybe not beer, but I know how to stop gambling. All right, well, thank you guys for watching. Any questions on gambling, any questions on bet a beer, bet the house, please hit the link. Say, comments, likes, shares, DMs. I answer everything. I'm not afraid. If I took an L for the week, I'll let you know I took an L for the week. Again, I can take my L like a grown man and move on. But when I win, I want them same DMs and comments, okay? I want the same energy, okay? I don't want need no tap. You quiet. No, I need you to, yeah. Go on and say, all right, you was right. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. And again, this will be the last episode, full episode on YouTube. So be on the lookout. Click the link in the description, the Patreon. Join the crew. It is gonna be quite a ride in the with the Sunset Lounge and Beer 30. They have no idea what they signed up for. Nah, but I'm actually really excited about it, man. I think it's gonna be great things for Beer 30, great things for you guys to watch. So yeah, just like I said, hit the link in the description, sign up, and yeah, we'll see you guys later. This is Beer 30 Sports O'Clock. Man, I spit again?